Good morning. Hello, hello. Grandmother clock is chiming. It must be time to talk about keto. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I talk about how I lost 97.4 pounds after starting the ketogenic protocol and how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life, like I did. Let me move some stuff out of here. I hope everyone is well. We are well. And I tell you what, I do these Saturday live streams. By the way, someone commented, "So glad to see you back on YouTube." And that someone else wrote that they signed up for notifications, but it doesn't work. So I've already reached out to YouTube, haven't heard anything back. I don't expect to. Anywho, I'm here every Saturday morning, pretty much at 10 a.m. Eastern. And the most challenging part of doing these Saturday morning live streams is not talking, because for me, talking is easy. It's coming up with a topic. I've been doing this a long time. So today is Q&A. Y'all are the ones going to be talking. And can someone let me know that you can see and hear me? That would be very, very beneficial. I would appreciate that. Um, uh-oh, gonna have some feedback here. So anyway, I'm just going to throw it open, so I hope someone can see and hear me. Maybe not. Okay, I see some hearts, so at least somebody's here. Okay, yay, can hear you. Thank you very much. So today, what we'll do is first I'll do my little thing that I do, talking about how I learned the protocol and how I've practiced it. And then I'll just jump into your comments, which I think is a good thing to do. Who wants to hear my ideas? I want to hear your ideas. So, for those of you who are the uninitiated, I learned and have practiced the ketogenic protocol for over 10 and a half years now. And how I learned it was keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day, total carbs, not net carbs. Net carbs just means more carbs. If it's not on page 4, and there's a link to page 4 below, don't eat it, but you don't even need a food list. It's just fatty sources of protein, non-starchy vegetables, and full-fat dairy. Don't eat if you're not hungry. For me, the most challenging part. Next most challenging part, stop eating when you've had enough. And then I've added be patient and persevere. So that's it. You become a fat burner when this happens. Your appetite is suppressed. Your hunger is suppressed. Burning fat for fuel or burning ketone bodies for fuel serves me very well. There are many paths to get to the same destination. And I fully support those who eat a plant-based diet and they feel better that way. I feel better on an animal-based diet. That having been said, let's turn our attention to you. Okie dokie. Oh, and I posted something. I posted a link to the next Amy and Casey show. My friend Amy Berger and I do monthly, first Tuesday of the month, live streams on Crowdcast. And I've posted a link to it for the October version, which will be a week from Tuesday. Okay, Colleen Lincoln wrote, can hear you. Cassandra Ball, we can see and hear you. Yay. And Christina wrote, good morning. Can see and hear. Thank you, Nancy Fleeks. And Nancy Curtis can see and hear you. Thank you, Nancy. Judy H. Judy from Kentucky. And Dorley Webster, good morning from Ontario. Thank you so much, Jojo Wallace. Hey from Southern Maryland, and hello from Chicago. So cool to see people in different parts of the country, different parts of the world. Sometimes we'll have someone popping in from Turkey, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, France, Ireland, the UK. So if anyone has a question, it could be you can ask me anything. I might respond without answering, but you may ask me anything. But we can ask each other things. So perhaps I'll get the ball rolling here. Is anyone here pretty new to the protocol? Are you just kind of doing some tire kicking? Christina, QQQ. I have been 3 months keto and strict. I am still feeling extreme fatigue, ongoing fatigue for decades. Suggestions? Well, Christina, I thank you for the question. If you have ongoing fatigue, have you been checked out? Do you feel like you might have chronic fatigue syndrome? That is, are you being treated for that? So keto can't fix everything, right? If you have a broken arm, you may or may not mend a little bit faster than if you're a sugar burner. But if your fatigue is ongoing and possibly you need treatment for that. So most people, including me, have found that when you become a fat burner, energy actually increases. I found this for me. When I was the bad old days, I mean, and my story, some of you do or don't know this, but I was overweight, obese, morbidly obese for 30 years, from my mid-20s to my mid-50s. I tried it all. I'd done the year of the triathlons. I'd done the move more, eat less. I joined every gym in town at least once, thinking I'll join a gym. That'll do it. No, you actually didn't. And I'd given up on losing weight. I just didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes, which I knew was coming up based on my health and my family history. So I Googled how to not take insulin for type 2 diabetes, came across the white coat video of Dr. Eric Westman of Duke University. I was never his patient, but he and I became connected and friends, and did some presentations together. But the way to not take insulin for type 2 diabetes is keep your carbohydrates 20 grams or fewer, total not net. If it's not on page 4, don't eat it. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop eating when you've had enough. So that's what I did, and I lost weight, in addition to not needing to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. My blood sugar is perfect. I take it once a week. I'm actually doing kind of a self-experiment. Since I started this over these 10 and a half years, my average blood glucose reading via the Keto Mojo, before that it was the Precision Extra glucometer, 72. My average blood ketones measures average over 10 f 2.5. So I found, before all this, I had brain fog. I needed an afternoon nap. I was like that episode from Seinfeld when Costanza's working at the New York Yankees and he got used to taking a nap. He had a little place under his desk. He'd crawl up under there and take a nap. That's the way I felt. No more. I may take an afternoon nap, and I mean like a cat nap, once every 6 months now. And it's like for 20 minutes. And so I do it and it's fine. So get yourself checked. Make sure that, and are you in ketosis? That would be another question, because, you say you're strict, and some people feel like they're being strict if they only eat food products labeled keto. So those products that you find on the shelf and all that, not keto. Not keto. So you really have to stick to fatty sources of protein. And, none of those keto products, if you look at the ingredients, that's not how it is. For one thing, they wouldn't be shelf stable. So have you tested to see whether you're in ketosis or not? Not that you have to test, but maybe you think you're being very strict, but not quite. Or maybe you need, to be even stricter than someone else. Excuse me. Nancy Fleeks writes, I am restarting after 2-month lapse. Can you share? Do you want to share? Why the lapse? What happened? Do you know? And how long had you been doing it? Previous to that, Christina writes, been tested and feel like the doctor does not listen. Well, we've all been there. We've all been there, particularly if you are a female and it has to do with like being tired or fatigued or just kind of pain that it's difficult to describe. Gets poo-pooed a lot by the medical community. Just, maybe don't be so hysterical. So I hope you get some relief in that. Christina writes, I am in ketosis and I only eat non-processed foods. Very good. Judy H writes, been feeling off on my carnivore eating last few months with stalled and inflammation. So I decided to do my sardine fasting. It's really just so easy and simple, high protein and great fats too, no carbs. Well, bless you. I would not be doing a sardine fast. One thing, if you're eating, you're not fasting. So let's just be clear about that. Fasting means you don't eat. And I don't support that. If you're hungry, eat. So, and I think I did a snippet a couple of weeks ago about my opinion about carnivore. You know, carnivore, that's fine if you feel really good, but apparently you don't. So I'm not sure, because if you're only eating sardines, you're still being carnivore. Right? So I wonder why you were not feeling so well in inflammation. Maybe I don't know. Now, I will tell you personally, I'm in ketosis. I have not been out of ketosis since I first tested with the urine strips when I was first doing this. And sometimes I don't feel so well if I have overconsumed food, and it doesn't take much. Doesn't take me eating much more than I require for me to feel gross. Oh my goodness, there's a flashing light going off behind me. To feel unwell, I feel ugh. So I'm like the princess and the pea. The amount of food that I require goes from the difference between not quite enough, just right, and too much is a very small amount. That's me. So maybe it's the amount of food that one is eating. That's what I would be looking at. Judy Porterfield, good morning from Michigan. Sardines. Oh, and she did the little heart emoji with the hands. So this is another thing. There is not one thing that's going to work for every person. So much depends on your personal circumstance, your body composition, stage of life, age, weight, height, gender, activity level, genetics. So I've had to tweak what I do. The tweaking does not involve, oh, let me up my carbs a little bit. No, I stick to the same thing. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer. Mine are very low a day, total, not net. If it's not on page 4, fatty sources of protein, limited amounts of full fat dairy, limited amounts of vegetables, non-starchy vegetables. So, you can hear out there, oh, you have to have a minimum of 7 cups of leafy greens a day. That's false, as Dwight Schrute would say. False. That's way too many. The maximum on page 4 is 2 cups of uncooked leafy greens, max a day. So, but don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop eating when you've had enough. That's where the tweaking comes in. Particularly the stop eating when you've had enough. Here's a pro tip. Eat slowly. Seriously, eat slowly. Put your utensils down between mouthfuls. Why? Because there's a hormone called leptin, which is the satiety hormone. It's the hormone that tells your brain you've had enough. But it takes a little while for the signal to get to the brain. Just for example, let's say it takes 12 minutes for that signal to get to the brain, but you've scarfed down your meal in 7 minutes. You might have even, with the remaining 5 minutes, gone back and gotten another helping. But if you eat slowly, it really helps. I've shared this with my patrons that if I have a particularly delicious plate of fuel that I'm enjoying and I'm really looking forward to eating it, and it tastes so good, and I will think, I might make another plate of this because I like it so much. That's what I think at the beginning of eating. And, no one's gonna say boo to me. I can eat it if I want to. I'm an adult. But I eat slowly, and about halfway through the plate, I'll say, "Well, no, no, I probably won't have any more." By the time I finished, I actually feel like, "Oh, I would not eat more if someone prepared it and put it in front of me. I'm done for now." Eating slowly helps. Sardines, writes Judy. Okay, Judy H writes, I think my carnivore problem might be eating so much beef, which is dense, does not work well because of my R&Y gastric bypass from 2004. You know, I don't know, several people in my Patreon group have had bariatric surgery. And you do have to figure out what does and does not work for you. It's you have to. I mean, plumbing's different. So, um, I, by the way, want to give a plug for patrons. I have a private Patreon support group where, in link below, I do patron-only content every weekday morning, and then several patron-only live streams on Crowdcast every month, and then one-on-ones with me every month. So thank you for that. And you don't have to buy anything to be 100% successful at this. No kits, no powders, no pills, no supplements, certainly not exogenous ketones. But I will sell you uh, t-shirts and caps and mugs, link below to my spread shop, all day long. And I didn't bring it, but my green book, you can see a link to it on my blog, also linked below. I'm just linking below like crazy. So I appreciate the support, and I really appreciate when you subscribe and you give a thumbs up and comments. They all help my channel, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I have a personal goal. All right, turning back to you all. But by the way, do you like this? Just the Q&A, just an open discussion instead of me setting an agenda? Deb Rundle writes, morning from Vernon, British Columbia. Linda Bridges says, hi. Judy H. Some great tips, Casey. Eat slowly is one of my problems. Thanks for the reminder and great tips today. Thank you. I have to remind myself as well. I've gotten in the habit of putting down the utensil because that's just, Judy Tucker. Morning from Hopkinton, Iowa. Judy Tucker's lost over 155 pounds. She knows of what she speaks. Mary T. Good morning from Grand Forks, British Columbia, Canada. Dorley Webster. My blood pressure was high. I've been doing the strict protocol for 5 months. I've been able to bring it down to normal without meds. So happy. Not to mention dropping 2 sizes. Congratulations. A round of applause for Dora Lee. And Judy Porterfield writes, hiya, Judy Tucker. Ruth Haney, you and Amy Berger offer such practical advice. Thank you. And Amy and I are very good friends. We enjoy each other's company. And I'm really glad we're doing these monthly things. Colton Lincoln, love it, writes Colton Lincoln. Judy Tucker, hi, Judy Porterfield. It's really nice in the Patreon group because we kind of we get to know each other. May never see their face, but you get to know somebody's backstory and their struggles. We've had people who realized that something was coming up, or there was strife in the family, or an illness of a spouse, and these are the things that at once make what you're eating seem trivial, but also it's so important to stay as healthy and strong as one can and not eat from emotion. We just had a discussion about that in Morning Snippets, because the patrons can make suggestions about what the morning snippet should be. If you follow my Go Keto with Casey Facebook page, I've started putting a link to the morning snippets there. They're for patrons only, but you can at least see the topics, and you might find it interesting. Mary T. My story: 66 years old, 7 years keto. I stay keto so I feel no pain. My weight stays exactly the same no matter what I eat. Pretty much ketovore. I have a huge veggie garden. Excellent. I like vegetables. Really. I am not anti-veg. I just eat personally, I eat so little now. I'm always going to start with a fatty source of protein. Protein and fat provide amino acids which our body cannot create. We must consume fat and protein for those essential amino acids, which are required for cell health, lean tissue. We eat carbs, which produces glucose, but we don't need to eat carbs to get the glucose. Our body can make the amount of glucose required through gluconeogenesis. So I'm going to always default to the fatty sources of protein. I eat slowly. By the time I'm done, I don't want to eat anything else, but that's great. Mary T writes, I should add, I'm down 70 pounds, lost in the first year. Fantastic. That is all great. Judy Porterfield, Mary T, that's me too. I can maintain like a champ. LOL, still want to lose a bit more though. And Christina, fun question. What is your favorite fatty meat? I'm going to have to immediately say ribeye. Every time my husband and I have ribeye, we ridiculously look at each other and just we're savoring and say, I could eat this every day. And we both could. Ribeye, fatty source of protein. We used to each eat a full ribeye. My husband portions them from a full ribeye. And so I like them about 11 or 12 ounces. We each, and then we, put them in the food saver. We would each eat these large steaks, the whole thing. Then it got to the point where I was eating, he'd eat his and I'd have some left over. And then it evolved into we share a steak. Sometimes I don't have any, even though it smells really good. But if I really try to not, sorry, it's my brother. I'll have to call him back. If I'm not hungry. But now, even so, it'll be one steak. And last week, my husband didn't finish his steak. So it's amazing because we just require less. But I like it all. I like chicken thighs with the skin. I like liver. I like pork. I like pork belly. I like pork chops. I like sausages. I like it all. Sandra Bullock, hi, Keto Casey. Yes, we love this. So the question and answer. By the way, there was, I don't know if she still is, someone else who created a Facebook thing and I think an Instagram calling herself Keto Casey. Not me. That is not me. Or maybe even Keto with Casey. She doesn't look like me. She's young. She's tall. She's thin, and she used to be a professional vegetable and fruit photographer. So no, she's just glomming on. Plus, she sells things. I'm the old one. Yes, 100% on the ribeye, writes Judy Porterfield, and then an emoji of a ribeye. Judy H. Love Q&A. Any agenda you do is fine with me. Yes, the monthly meetings are amazing. I'm getting spoiled because I really look forward to them now. Get my Casey and Amy time. And Buster Sugar Granny, how do you prepare your ribeye? Many ways. We have a big green egg, which is, it's just so delicious. And it takes seriously 4 minutes. Very high heat. Did I make a video on that? I think I have footage and I haven't published a video. Anyway, big green egg over hardwood charcoal. Or, I think I have made a video on this. Cast iron lodge griddle on the cooktop. In the oven, in a cast iron skillet. Put the cast iron skillet in there, broil, let it get smoking hot. Throw the ribeye in that's been seasoned, about 3 minutes on one side. You don't even have to flip it because the skillet is so hot, it browns and sears. And we like ours medium rare to rare. So there's lots of ways to cook it. And Christian writes, thank you. And Mary T, my plate is always some kind of fatty meat. Takes up half the plate. Then a half cup or so of veg, butter, organic from my local dairy, on the veg. Delish. So simple. People think that's too hard to cook keto. No, it's so much simpler. Takes much less time. Most of the meals that I prepare, assuming I'm starting out with a thawed piece of chicken or fish or oh, that's another thing, salmon. I did make a video on how we cook salmon around here. Takes 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And we eat so much more frugally. It just costs less. Judy Porterfield. When's the next Casey and Amy? I've missed them this around. Okay, I'm going to try this again. Posted it early. There you go. It's a week from Tuesday. So the first Tuesday of the month, which I think is actually October 1st. And this will be a good one because we're getting into silly season where food comes. October, November, December. Ay, ay, ay. It's way easier to shop and cook. Both. Yes. Love it. So let me see. Anything else? Judy writes, thanks, Casey. I don't think I've even published that link anywhere else. I just did it. I haven't even put it to my patrons or Amy. I sent the link to Amy. She might, if you follow her, she might have posted it somewhere. But anyway, we've got time, about 10 days. I'm trying to think if there's anything else coming up. No, other than the patron stuff. I really appreciate my patrons. I got to tell you, by the way, those of you who are patrons, I will be spending the rest of this weekend addressing envelopes, writing notes on the back of the cards, and then mailing those out. Every once a quarter, I design and have delivered note cards, which I write little notes on. I kind of like this one. It's different. It's a different one for me. Yay! I do like that hands heart emoji. Any other comments or something? Comments or something? Anyone have anything to say? Thank you for sharing your stories, by the way. So many times we can feel like we're the only one challenged or strumbling. That was a word mashed up. I make the video snippets for the patrons first thing in the morning. Sometimes it's still dark, and sometimes I haven't had coffee, and I definitely have pillow hair. And I'll speak, and I was trying to say stumble or struggle, and it came out strumble. What's the other one? Mentally, emotional and mental. Casey, just listening to you remind me of how far I have come. Judy's story is amazing. Judy, weren't you a vegetarian at one point, which is unusual in itself because she's in cattle country? Always been on a farm. Something weird just jumped up on the bottom of my screen. Judy Porterfield, have a beautiful weekend, Casey and all. And Mary T writes, we need to share our story to help the beginners. It takes a village, indeed. So maybe next week I'll do your success stories, keto and you. Or did I do that last week? I don't remember. Nancy Curtis, remember the Alaska Floating Road Show in 2020 that was canceled? I finally got to Alaska last month. Keep it keto. So easy. Lots of yummy salmon. Yeah, we had a Go Keto with Casey travel and floating road show on a cruise to the Caribbean. And we were going to do another one to Alaska, but then pandemic. A lot of vegetarians come to this way of eating. Love it. Deb Rundle says a heart emoji. Y'all, seriously, thank you for subscribing. Some people think they're subscribed because my videos come up in their feed, but no, that just happens. So if you can subscribe, it really does help. And a thumbs up. And just sharing the love. Thanks, guys. You're vegetarian and over 300 pounds, was Judy, in cattle country, working on a farm. All right. Again, I'm going to sign off. Thanks a lot. Have a great rest of your time. And I do appreciate the support. Thanks.